but I don't know. I think that McCain showed that he did have the experience. Unfortunately, if he didn't come off as such a dick, I would totally give him the nod for I guess if you were to say who the winner was for this debate. So as of right now, I'm leaning a little bit towards McCain only because he did have some experience that he was bringing into it, but I'm not totally saying he was the best one out there because again I think they both did a great job, and I'm excited for the next one. Oh, and
well, next one's not going to be it's going to be a open question.
Yeah,
night,
town hall.
Yeah.
Right. At town hall. That's how they usually do it. This Thursday though. I mean, Dave, do you have anything you want to say about it before I move on to the VP?
Yeah, just real quick. I think. No, I think I agree with what you said about how they handled the questions very much, but whereas you were enthusiastic about it, I was just sort of sitting there. I was like, neither of them are even close to as good as I thought they would be.
Yeah.
Obama, whereas and he showed he was a little dense, in the Democratic debates. But I wasn't expecting him to come across as stiffly as he did. I think that's the best way of putting it. Whereas McCain, really, you're absolutely right. He did come off as an absolute pompous, but he also seemed more nervous to me, too. I think it almost was the nerves creeping in instead of him coming across as pompous and sort of compensating with, the little grins and the nodding and everything in between, because I was actually watching it on a split screen, and half the time that Obama was talking, I was watching McCain more than Obama because he was just making so many faces that I was just like, ADD, I'm distracted, look at him,
Right.
And similar with Obama, but he just sort of, I'm sort of more critiquing the performance aspects as opposed to the actual issues that they dealt with, because both of you sort of hammered that on the head. So, I mean, overall, I think I'm leaning more towards Obama's policies, so I agreed with what he said more, but I'm not exactly sure if I was swayed by either of their presentations.
All right.
If that makes
Crystal.
any sense.
No, that's right.
Yeah. Crystal,
Yes.
your take.
Well, I agree that McCain was, I think he feels threatened at this point. He knows, especially after his choice of Palin, that he's losing some support, I feel, and that's why he was sort of, like Dave said, overcompensating with all of the grins and the snide remarks.
Hasn't Palin brought a lot of support, though, I thought?
Not that I know of.
Oh, I thought she
Has she?
I thought there was a big rally behind her.
Sure, there's
I
some
understand
rally
that.
behind her, but I, as far as I know, the majority of people are not too happy with that decision. I mean, I know people who were very firm McCain supporters, and after his choice of Palin as the VP, are rethinking their vote now.
Were they Republicans or were they moderates?
Yes.
What were they? Oh, okay.
Republicans.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's interesting because actually a lot of the more, I guess you could say, intellectual conservatives on the National Review and those kinds of people who have a lot of clout in the conservative movement are they were super excited when Palin got in, and now that Palin's kind of muddled two interviews and kind of she's not giving a lot of specifics like people want her to. I think they're getting a little scared. And they're going, maybe she wasn't the best point. I mean, she still has the mainstream Republicans, I guess you could say, because when she goes to do speeches, she's still getting a good 10 to 20,000 people. Showing up. So I think you're right. I think now a lot of people are kind of going, oh shit, what did we do? So
Right.
So I mean, this Thursday at the
It's going to be the day.
Yeah, it's going to be the day. She's got a shit ton to prove. So.
Well, and I know a lot of people who have said that Palin should just step down at this point.
Right.
Well, that's what people say about Biden, too. And now there's a rumor going around that Biden's going to do that after the vice presidential debates, but I doubt it's going to happen.
No.
Yeah, Biden.
That looks so bad.
Well, that's the thing. I think it's happened. I think once the past like 50 years that BP nominee has actually stepped down. I count current politics like the past, I guess, 50, 60 years. I tend to not really think of too much that happened in the 19th and 18th century. So
before we wander too far, Crystal, do you add anything else, or do you want to?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I mean, not much that hasn't already been said. It's mostly I rely more on body language and presentation than I do on what they're saying, because half the time they either don't know what they're saying is if it's actually going to work out that way, or they're just saying it to get into office.
Right.
So, I listen to what they have to say, but I read the body language more, and I listen to how confidently and intelligently they're speaking more. And like I said, I think McCain handled it poorly. I think whatever pressure he was dealing with or whatever he was thinking at that time, he should have pushed it aside and not let it get to him, because something was making him definitely come off as very pompous, and I didn't like him. Before this, I had no problem with him.
Right.
All right.
But after that, I just was very much not impressed with him at that debate.
Yeah. I think he was trying to hammer home with the more conservative crowd.
To me, it didn't come off as being nervous so much as just being a tactic, mainly. Which there was a difference between a strategy and a tactic. I'm going to tell you right now.
But I totally agree with you. I mean, it did seem like he was nervous and jerky at times. And actually, I wanted to say that on factcheck.org, I think we plugged it last show. They have a summary of the first debate and kind of a bunch of bulletins. Then they go into actual analysis on what they said, what was actually false, and they've got like 6 points on both sides of kind of misstatements and kind of outright lies. So such as let's see, let me just pull one out. McCain repeated his overstated claim that the U.S. pays $700 billion a year for oil to hostile nations. Imports are running at about $536 billion this year, and a third of it comes from Canada, Mexico, and UK. So, they definitely try to say these talking points where it sounds right, but it really have to do some.
What were the other points?
I guess I'll grab a.
Well, I mean, are they long?
No, these are just talking points. And at the bottom, there's actual analysis. So, I should say they're just bullets. Like Obama said, 95% of the American people would see a tax cut under his proposal. The actual figure is 81% of households. So, like stuff like that. So.
Well, let's do a thing on policy. Just as far as my points on policy, I agree with Barack Obama more. On now, obviously with economics, I don't know anything because neither of them said anything. With foreign policy, I thought Barack Obama made a good point that we need to pull out Iraq because it's distracted us from Afghanistan. I do feel Afghanistan is more important. I do feel the Iraq War has mainly been a drain on that. On top of that, I thought he made a good point, which I was really happy to hear him state this, that somebody realizing that Ahmadinejad with Iran is really not the person we need to be worrying about. What we need to be worrying about is the Ayatollah, who has the real power in Iran, and that nobody's really talking about. I do believe that, when we came to the debate about talking with people versus, the isolation method, or I guess that's Barack Obama's words, that's what he called it. I do believe that his policy of meeting, I know the issue about terms came up, but I believe that policy is better to meet without terms than to meet with terms. And I guess I don't necessarily believe that not meeting deters or enforces deviant behavior as much as people think it does. But my opinion is I lean more towards Barack Obama's side. Dave, reboot.
No, I
What's
agree
the
with
word?
you.
What am I saying?
Rebuke. Is that it?
Thank you. Yeah.
I agree. I agreed a lot with Barack Obama. I think that we need to, because it seems as though Iraq is somewhat stabilizing itself. I think Obama needs to kind of say that he might have been wrong about the surge, because I think the surge really did help out. Yep. Whether or not it was the number one thing that helped it is up for debate. But we need to start focusing. It seems to be. I mean, I'm not an expert, but it seems like we focus our effort on Afghanistan because there's a lot more shit going down there.